Hi guys, my name is Regina McCoy. I am a grad student at Grand Canyon University. I'm working on my master's in early childhood education, And today our topic is going to be over phonological and phonemic awareness. So let's get started. So phonics refers to the knowledge of letter sounds and the ability to apply that knowledge in decoding unfamiliar printed words. While phonological and phonemic awareness are often used interchangeably, there are slight differences between both those terms. Phonemic awareness refers to oral language, what is being heard, and phonics refers to print, what is being seen, what is being read. Both skills are very important and tend to interact in reading development. However, there are differences. Children can have weaknesses in one of them, but not the other one. Phonemic awareness provides the basis for phonics. For example, a child who knows letter sounds but cannot blend the sounds to form whole words has a phonological awareness, specifically a phonemic awareness problem. Equally, a child who can orally blend sounds with ease but mixes up vowel letter sounds, reading pat for pet or tip for tap, has a phonics problem. Phonological and phonemic awareness affects children's reading skills because they are pre-reading listening skills that relate to phonics. So with that being said, this is actually a really big issue. At least I'm noticing it's becoming an issue with a lot of the students that I work with, which is pre-K through second. A lot of the students are able to speak, and some of those you can hear where they don't have those clear sounds because their surroundings, their family members, their environment, they didn't enunciate properly, and that causes difficulties for the child. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me come back. Okay, learning the alphabet and their sounds of each letter, learning the sounds of each letter in the alphabet is developmentally appropriate for kindergarten and first grades as they apply knowledge of phonological and phonemic awareness for a solid reading foundation. This sets the tone for that solid reading foundation. Reading development is the foundation for early literacy because in reading, the understanding of recognizing letters, then pairing the letters with the sounds help the child to form words. Therefore, a child that can read will be able to sound out, listen for those sounds when spelling. A child that understands and knows what sounds goes with the appropriate letter will then be able to sound out cat and spell out the word correctly. I mean, except for the occasional C for K, which that's going into a whole different game. We want to focus in on when we have those young babies around us, we want to make sure that we are slowing down our words and speaking clearly for them so that they can hear the enunciation and the proper pronunciation of each word, okay? You don't want a child, for instance, going over the alphabets. Some people say P, that extra on the end, that is not the actual enunciation. That's not the actual phonological pronunciation of that letter. It's actually P. You hear the difference? There's a difference. So that's why it's important to make sure that you take the time to really speak clearly to give these babies a chance, okay? For instance, a child in a class that I was previously observing, the child was able to speak clearly. This little girl's vocabulary, oh my gosh, it was incredible. 3 years old, into an adopted family, and she blew my mind how clearly she spoke. But when I was doing one-on-one with her, I noticed she didn't know her alphabets. And those same words that she was able to tell me verbally, she could not read them in a book. Little simple book, but she could not identify. So that was what we worked on so that she could slow down and really get to understanding how to associate. That is a big deal with pre-K, preschool, pre-K, kindergarten. First is that association factor, okay? And one of the little tips and tricks that I helped her out with, because she could read dog and she would actually mix up day and that's a real bad example. Let me think of the one of the little books we read. Um she had issues with her vowel sounds, like when she was reading the actual words. So getting to the little game that we actually got to, with her vowel sounds, we came up with a little song. A is for apple, ah, ah, ah. E is for eat, 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 eat. I is for inside, 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 out. O is for outside, 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 and so on and so forth. So that really helped her when she was noticing it. She would get so excited for reading a book. She would point out a vowel and say, "Oh, that is apple," like that. That's how. So that association really does help. And I also, now this is the other end of the spectrum. I had a student who another class I was observing, and I was doing one-on-one with the teacher instructing me to assist the child. He had heard I and you and all those little words so much that when he would see, like when he would speak, he could say those so clearly. Oh, it was amazing, but he could not read them. Like he could read them, but it's totally different from the way that he would read them, from the way that he would say them when he was saying it with confidence. Like his sentence, he knew, I just came from home, versus I I I, I can't and get like that is literally how he would read. He never blended those sounds. So that was the other end of the spectrum. Um and Students like that, you really just have to slow them down and help them, as we do at the school I work with. We blend it. We run that finger across that word. We blend those sounds. So dog, 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 dog. You know, you blend it. You help them with those words. Getting back on topic, phonics complications are observed when a child was attempting to read a story that was, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, I already told you about that. Excuse me, I do apologize for that. Some activities for those small groups or for your child at home. Maybe your child is having issues with letter naming. One activity that I did was I would have the child sing the ABC song. All the children know the ABC songs. Okay, the ABC song. So what you would do is, as they're saying the ABC songs, get some flashcards, make your own flashcards, get a ABC line, and as they're saying it, make sure they slow it down and they're going over each letter. So as they're saying A, you're pointing to A. As you're saying B, you guys are pointing to B, so on and so forth. That really helped a lot of my students associate, being able to pair. That is a big deal. Being able to pair those letters, those letter names, with actually seeing that letter and knowing, oh, that A is A, that is A. Children that have maybe notice that your child is having issues with listening and speaking. Reading stories every night, taking your time, taking that 5-10 minutes right before they go to bed to read that little book. I don't care if it's one book that you have in your house, read it over and over again. You will be surprised at what children can learn from that same story being heard over and over and over again. Okay, take your time, speak clearly. Okay, reading is not a race, so slow down and speak clearly. All right, comprehension, make a game out of it. I do this with my students all the time. I'll take a book. Of course, it's age appropriate, and you want to make sure it's age appropriate questions. Okay, so and give rewards. You know, hey, if you're able to answer this question, maybe at the end you'll get a sticker or you'll get a high five, or you can be my helper or something like that. You know, help mom in the kitchen. All right. So let's say, for instance, the picture on the page is the sentence is saying the dog is running. Okay, and maybe in the picture, the sun is out, and you just see the dog, running across the page, and the child is looking confused. Don't give in to the frustration. Give them that time to figure it out. And if you see that they're struggling, guide them. Don't just, okay, it says the dog is running, next page. Don't do that. You have patience. Patience is key. Okay, so make sure you're taking your time. And, say, hey, what is that? And, maybe they'll say, dog or roof, roof, or whatever. And then say, oh, what is this? What is that up there? And, is it raining? Is it out? What does it look like it's doing? Is it walking? Is it sleeping? Try to guide them. Don't just give in and give them the answer. Okay. So that helps with comprehension. And the phonological awareness. There are so many activities that you can do with your child and your students to help with, phonological awareness, like singing songs, okay? Those nursery rhymes, okay? That's a great one. Or rhyming books, like one of my daughter's favorite books is Five Little Ducks. And so on one page, it opens up, five little ducks went out one day, waddling down to the to the pond to play, calling quack. And then the next page, five little ducks went out one day, then one leapt in and swam away. And it goes on, and it's not exactly rhyming, but there's consistency within the pages. And so she knows that book, and she'll sit there and help me track. And then she's already, it's incredible what they can learn just from actually paying attention. That's the big deal. You don't want to be reading a book and your child is looking at the TV or looking up at the ceiling or whatever the case may be. You want to make sure that they're focused and they're reading along with you, and ask them questions. Hey, what color is the duck? Or what color is the sun? What color is the sky in here? What color is the grass? So on and so forth. So that is a great tip in helping to build those skills in phonological awareness. There's a great website. It's www.understood.org. There's actually on the web page, it's actually talking about phonological awareness. If you actually scroll down towards the bottom of the page, and it actually says something about helping your child in apps and technological resources, you can click on apps, and there's a drop down menu. It'll help you, select the age your child is or your students are that needs help. What areas do they need help in? And then they come up with like a list of 3, 4, maybe 5 items, 5 games that can assist your child in building this skill. So check out that website. It's very helpful. And readingrockets.org has a lot of information on phonological awareness and phonemics. So guys, check that out. I hope this has been really helpful. I'm sorry I blabbed and got all off subject. I really hope this was helpful. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time.